So it's no secret that I talk about all the spiciest anime hot takes a lot on this channel, right? I'm personally not a fan of them because I think talking about arbitrary hot takes is unproductive, it doesn't contribute any insight, and doesn't start any meaningful discussions. But people like to talk about them anyway. Usually I'll scour Twitter to get some terrible opinions, but then I realized I have my own breeding farm of god-awful anime takes right here in front of me. All I have to do is look in my very own comment section. So that's what I did. I had to dig through the comment sections of a bunch of my old videos to find some of the wildest things that you, the community, have said. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Let's start with a comment from my video about the live-action Zom 100 movie. Now, even though I'm about to make fun of this dude, I even replied to them saying that they made the most nonsensical comment I've ever seen, and y'all know I barely reply to anyone in the comments. I don't feel too bad clowning on them because they seem like a pretty good sport in the replies, so shout out to you, man, for being cool about it. But what the fuck does this comment mean? Episode 1 was dog simp, NTR, cockboy, trash, coward main protagonist, wine fest. Does it get better because that episode was hard to watch besides the pretty colors? If that isn't the most insane jumble of internet weeb buzzwords I've ever seen, I don't know what is. If you don't like the show, of course that's fine, but I hope you don't say things like dog, simp, NTR, cockboy, or whatever you said. I hope you don't say things like that in real life, or else... yikes. This is the thing about anime fans, right? And I'm not necessarily talking about this commenter because again, they ended up being cool at the end of the day. But the majority of anime fans have the worst media literacy ever. I mean, out of all the major mediums of art like movies, live action TV, video games, music, I legitimately think anime fans have the lowest IQ out of all of them. How do you watch something like episode 1 of Zom 100 and immediately think of a hentai tag? And how do you watch it and get coward wine fest? With that mentality, you'd probably watch the first 10 minutes of Spider-Man and be like, man, this is trash. Peter Parker is such a dweeby wuss. And then that's like all you get out of it. Look, you see, in anime, there are these things called stories. Actually, this applies to a lot of different art. And during a story, you have these things called characters. And they'll usually start out a certain way, do a bunch of things, and then be different at the end of it all. This is what scholars all over the world commonly refer to as telling a story. I know this is a difficult concept for anime fans to comprehend, but hey, the rest of the world gets it. Alright, we're only one comment in and I'm already exasperated, so let's look at something a bit more reasonable. It is completely valid to judge an anime based on its greatest moments and ignoring the parts that were not as good. This one came from, unsurprisingly, a hot take video I did a while back. Yeah, definitely don't do those anymore. Now, I think this is in response to a take I was responding to in the video, which is this one. So just from what I said there, you might think I'd completely disagree with this take. But I mean, I see what they're saying, right? I've always said that you can like or dislike an anime for any reason you want, and it's 100% valid. If The Promised Neverland is your favorite anime of all time because you love the first season and you just want to ignore that season 2 exists, that's fine, you can do whatever you want. Now here's another kind of mild take, a little bit longer, but it's not as infuriating. For me, My Hero Academia is a perfect example of how great the weirdness of anime can be. Superhero content often feels pretty stale over here in the West at this point, but My Hero Academia feels like a fresh take for one because it isn't burdened with 50 plus years of comic book history, but also the superpowers are just bananas sometimes. There's a superhero that's literally a living washing machine, there's a dude that uses onomatopoeia words as physical weapons, and the guy with super speed can run so fast because he has literal engines with jet exhaust in his calves. You can't tell me that isn't creative. This one is from a video I made called Anime is for Weirdos, but it isn't that relevant to this, so don't worry about it. Still go watch the video though. Now, I'm not that into comic books anymore, but I know that in the past almost century that Marvel, DC, and all the other Western publishers have been making comics, there's been some weird stuff. Creative too, but mostly weird. Including, but not limited to, Beppo, Superman's Kryptonian monkey friend. The time Professor X was into Jean Grey when she was 15. The Thanos copter. That one Spider-Man story where Mary Jane dies from Spider-Man's radioactive semen. Yeah, I know. Animal, vegetable, mineral man. That one time Batman got turned into Bat Baby. And this completely not racist villain. So yeah, My Hero Academia has some creative weird stuff, but Western comic books have been weird since like the beginning. And I get what this person is saying too. When it comes to My Hero Academia, you don't have to read like 800 issues of comics spanning 50 years just to understand where to start in the series. Also, specifically in this day and age where we have the oversaturated superhero films that are made by a bunch of people on a committee, My Hero Academia feels fresh in comparison because it leans into the inherent silliness of cartoon superheroes. Alright, so this next group of comments all come from the same video. This is what Japan really thinks of Chainsaw Man. If you haven't seen it and you care about Chainsaw Man, go give it a watch real quick if you have time. Basically, the video is me responding to all the frankly racist hate that some Japanese fans have received because they've expressed disappointment with the Chainsaw Man anime adaptation. Because believe it or not, disagreeing over a cartoon opinion is no reason to generalize an entire group of people. That might be the hottest take of all. Although most of the comments here were in agreement with what I was saying in the video, a lot of the ones that weren't were just kind of misunderstanding of what I was trying to say. Yes, I was giving examples as to why some Japanese fans were right to think the Chainsaw Man anime wasn't a good adaptation because, I mean, that's also something I believe. But the reason I did that was to show that it isn't like a crazy out there ridiculous opinion, so there's no reason to say Japanese fans just don't understand Western cinema or whatever nonsense these people were saying. If you think the Chainsaw Man adaptation was good, that's fine, of course, nothing wrong with that. Just don't attack people who don't think it's good, and especially don't say weird things about Japanese people just because some of them don't like the cartoon that you like. But again, luckily, most people were reasonable in the comments and understood the points I was getting at. But just to drive the point home, here are some more questionable racist comments just to make you feel worse about humanity. Now let's forget about Chainsaw Man for a bit and move on to another show that's popular on my channel, which is Bleach. If you're new here, let me introduce you to my most disliked video of all time, the Bleach opening reactions. I'm not gonna lie, I really was shitting on some of these openings. Early YouTube Damian really didn't give a fuck and just said whatever. I'm kind of more mellowed out now. But this comment here actually has nothing to do with the music. They said Bleach is more slice of life and character drama / development than other shonen. As someone who is finally watching Bleach for the first time over on my Patreon, man, I wish it was more slice of life. Those early episodes were fun as fuck when it was just Ichigo and his high school buddies hanging around doing villain of the week stuff. And as for the character drama / development, I mean, does Ichigo's internal conflict with his Caucasian self count? Who knows? I ain't finished the show yet, so I mean, y'all tell me. I like Bleach a lot, but this just seems like a silly comment, let's be honest. Here's another one. How can you not like Ranbu no Melody? Legit regarded as one of the best openings ever made. LOL, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's like a consensus top OP of all time, but even if it was, that doesn't mean people can't dislike it. Because by that logic, every opening regarded as one of the best openings ever made should be universally loved by everyone, right? And if that's the case, what is the criteria for determining the best openings ever made? Are we using CBR's list? God, I hope not. To be fair though, I haven't gotten to that opening in the anime yet, so who knows? Maybe my opinion will change. Probably not. We'll do one more from this video because it's just a gold mine of funny comments. The annoying thing about your reaction is that you kept reviewing the video and not the audio. You kinda got distracted by that and we never saw your reaction to the actual song, but rather your afterthoughts. You also played 10 seconds of each song, some of them skipped the best parts. I haven't seen a worse reaction video in a while and the bad jokes didn't help either. This obviously isn't an anime take, but it's still just a funny comment to see because usually people will complain that I listen too much to the music and don't take the visuals of the video into account. Also, this is just a common complaint on reaction videos in general, but I don't mind that much because a lot of people actually don't know this. You can't just play a whole anime opening in its entirety on YouTube. There's this thing called copyright, and if you violate copyright too many times, YouTube just takes your channel down. That's why you have reaction channels that put like a filter over the footage, or they warble the audio or just lower the volume, and in my case, I just edit it into small clips where I put the interesting parts where I'm actually saying something. It's not that I only listen to 10 seconds of the song. What would the point of that even be? I'll take the L on the bad jokes though, that's pretty fair. Now, let's let's move on to a super recent video. This is why anime isn't as good as live action. If you didn't watch this video, it's obviously a very baity title, but the video is just about the merits of both live action and animation. Basically, I was just saying that live action film can do some things that animation can't do and vice versa. That's the gist of it. Still go watch it though. Now, the comment section in this one is another gold mine, so let's look at one of these. Live action in general is still superior to animation and always will be. They can try, but it will never... What? This is a mild one because I actually agree with this partially. I basically say the same thing in the video, right? Live action is superior to animation, but the key phrase here is and always will be. There is nothing inherent to the medium of animation that would suggest that it's incapable of creating a work of art that can be comparable to, say, The Godfather or something. I personally haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean it isn't possible. This is why it's always weird to me when people generalize the characteristics of anime like, oh, anime isn't a serious medium because of all the moe shit or because of all the lolly fan service. Sure, these things are definitely present in a lot of anime, but they're not inherent to the medium. All it takes is for a writer or director or studio to come along to make something that defies what we all know about the medium to prove all of that wrong. And that has happened before with stuff like Monster, Ghost in the Shell, Perfect Blue, you know, all that kind of stuff. So who knows what the future holds? Right now, out of the hundreds, thousands, whatever anime I've seen, I've never seen anything that can hold a candle to even a random movie like Marriage Story. But the point is, A, that's just my opinion, and B, that could easily change in the future, and I hope it does. You said you need a high budget animation to mimic real human emotions, but the counter to that is you need a great actor like Al Pacino to express those emotions. A mediocre actor can't pull that scene off. The same way an anime studio can't do certain things if they don't have the time or budget to do so. Also, both things need a talented staff to do both. I see what you're saying, but your arguments for why live action is better doesn't quite make sense. It isn't just because live action is human that makes it better, which I don't agree with in the first place, but it's the talent of the actors that are able to pull off those emotions in the first place. I definitely see what this person is saying, but the point I was making is that if you put up the best of anime against the best of film, anime is getting washed every time. Again, that's just my opinion, but yeah, if you have a mediocre acting performance, it's not gonna hit, but when you do have a good actor, it hits harder than an anime would. Now, this person is right in saying that let's say, for example, Ai Koga's vocal performance as Kaguya is a lot more entertaining of a performance than, say, Henry Cavill's non-existent Justice League performance. I mean, I think that much we can all agree on. That being said, even a terrible performance from Henry Cavill has that human element over an animated drawing because, well, he's human. Sometimes his acting may lead you to think otherwise, but he's a human. But maybe that doesn't even matter because this person says, I haven't watched a single live action film or series, or as I used to say, with real humans, in like 3 years, and not a single good one since a much longer time. Excluding the occasional Lord of the Rings rewatch, I only watch animation. Why on earth should I watch some real humans doing real human shit? If I would like to see that, I would watch myself. Well, if that's how you feel, you do you, man. But on another note, if you haven't watched a good live action film besides Lord of the Rings, I mean, I think you just gotta watch different movies. Think about all the people who use that same logic to discredit anime. They've only watched like Naruto or something, and they'll be like, well, I guess anime isn't for me. Why on earth would I watch a cartoon when I can just go watch real people? Both lines of thinking are pretty weird, although I gotta emphasize, you are free to think that way if you want. If you don't want to watch anime, that's fine. If you don't want to watch live action movies, more power to you. I mean, I'll secretly be judging you, but who cares what I think? Alright, well, that's all for this video. I just wanted to make something real quick for y'all since I'm in a good mood. I had a fun Halloween weekend, I found a delicious new soul food spot, and the Bulls somehow won a game. So I figured let me put something together for y'all to start off November. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and donate to Patreon if you want. Otherwise, that's the video. Peace.
Why did it look like that?